how long more do you need me on for actually just by the way?
For north, 20 minutes, I'd say.
No worries, no worries.
On here. So I need to get up early
That's fair.
myself too. Can't believe this thing fucking died on us. Twitter. Right. It seems to be working there anyway, so we'll get up ChatGPT here and we'll get the list this. There should be a live chat as well, so if people can want to reply, they can ask questions.
Mhm. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good if they could do that. Would be ideal.
Right, here we go. We'll play this now.
In the early hours of 24th of March, 1922, around 1 a.m., two men in police uniforms forcibly took a sledgehammer from a Belfast Corporation workman who was guarding a building site at Carlisle Circus. This sledgehammer was later used to break down the door of the McMahon family home. At the time, a curfew was enforced due to ongoing violence in the city. The two men met three others at Clifton Avenue, and the group of five proceeded to the home of Owen McMahon. Present in the house were 8 males and 3 females. Owen McMahon, his 6 sons, and Edward McKinney, who worked as a barman for the family and hailed from Desertegny, County Donegal. The females included Owen's wife Eliza, her daughter, and her niece. At about 1:20 a.m., the gang used the sledgehammer to smash open the McMahon door. Eliza McMahon described 4 of the men as wearing police caps and carrying revolvers, while one wore civilian clothes. John McMahon, one of Owen's sons, noted that although 4 men were dressed in Auric uniforms, he recognized them as specials, not regular Auric officers. All the intruders had concealed their faces. The men in police uniform rushed upstairs, forcing the males into the dining room and the women into another room. When Eliza pleaded for mercy, she was struck and fell. Owen McMahon asked why his family was targeted, and one gunman replied that it was because he was a respected papist. The gunman instructed the males to pray before opening fire. Owen McMahon, 50, Gerard McMahon, 15, Frank McMahon, Patrick McMahon, 22, and Edward McKinney, 25, were killed instantly, while Bernard McMahon, 26, died later from his injuries. The youngest son, 12-year-old Michael, survived by hiding and pretending to be shot, and John McMahon, 30, survived despite serious injuries. Eliza McMahon raised the alarm by shouting, "Murder! Murder!" from the drawing room window. A matron at a nearby nursing home heard her cries and called the police and an ambulance.
There you go. There's the event. So obviously they talked about the ages there. There was a child as young as 12 shot and the only one survived. And the youngest boy that died and was shot was 15.
From the drawing room window.
Yeah. That's shocking. But the thing is, my view is that there was an ethnic cleansing of nationalists and Republicans and Catholics in the North, in 1922 to 24 period, 1920. And this is just one example of what that sort of entailed, because they were under siege from 4 different groups: the USC, the RUC, the National Army, and loyalist UVF groups and stuff. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, it's
Well, some of it is, it's my opinion, and it's based on that report that we just read out.
I mean, Jesus, how can you not? I mean, it's mad. And even if you read further here, it says the 2 killings were part of the series of reprisals on Catholics for the IRA attacks in Belfast and elsewhere. The following week saw a similar incident in Belfast, known as the Arnon Street killings, which 5 Catholics were killed by police in uniforms who broke into their homes, allegedly in revenge killings of the policeman. And that kind of goes into what has been talked about Robert and Iraq and all them squad. It's the same thing. See if we go into
Yeah.
the Arnon Street killings. Like, look at this. Like, this happened just a week after it.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah, shot them dead by policemen and broke into their homes. Like, imagine a policeman just breaks into your house and kills you. It's mental.
it's crazy. Like, it's just it's so sad. It is an ethnic cleansing in my head.
For 110%. Like, that's what it is. That's where
Yeah,
the word pogroms came from. I was looking up the meaning of it there.
yeah. And
So,
it derives from like Nazi Germany and obviously the horrible things that happened with the Jewish people there. But it's look, there was no concentration camp, so I'm not going to say it's similar to what Jews endured, but it was genocide. It was killing. It was removing another race, I suppose.
A pogrom is a violent riot incited with the aim of massacring or expelling an ethnic or religious group, particularly Jews. The term entered the English language from Russian to describe 19th and 20th century attacks on Jews in the Russian Empire, mostly within the Pale of Settlement.
there you
It
go.
does sound like a very Russian word, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
well,
purge.
that's what they had in Nazi Germany. They had pogroms amongst the Jews by the Nazis. That's what happened. Dublin-based Irish independence is never seen a worse state of terror in the west and the south as the state of First Aid, which privileged the attacks at the Northern capital have been experienced. It's a major part of it. Like, I was going to tell you a different story, right? And this was of I'll try to look it up here, but I'll say IRA 1920 in Northern Ireland. Doesn't really say there. We'll say Belfast. So there you go. There.
What's this?
So this would be Google's description of the IRA's campaigns there in Belfast.
With the beginning of the Civil War in July 1922, the focus of the IRA moved completely south. Between 1920 and 1922, nearly 500 people, most of them civilians, were killed in Belfast. At least 1,000 were wounded. While violence subsided in much of Ireland after July 1921, it intensified in the north.
There you go.
On Gaeilge as well.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? That's it. I'm going to use that when I say ChatGPT to read everything aloud. Fuck it.
Nice touch. Yeah, nice touch. Yeah.
Learning as we goes. Yeah, no, it's mental. Like, it is mental, but my family did have a point there.
Yeah.
Where my grandfather, his brother, his father's brother, so his granddad's son, he died in an IRA unit. It was apparently they were trying to move arms out of the area of Belfast, and he was shot dead. I don't know about Belfast
Jeez.
Brigade of the IRA. There we go.
Oh my God. What year is that? Is that 1920?
1921. There you go. We could actually
Gee,
read
going to
this aloud.
Belfast Brigade.
This is beautiful. I had never seen this before. This is
Yeah,
cool.
this has to be right. That's so interesting. Like,
Yeah, there you go. I have not seen this before. And I've heard about these guys. These are the guys who would have started the Provos. Basically, would have gated the Provos probably. This, you know what I mean? Before they
yeah,
came up. So these would have been the old men at the time, and this was all going on.
so interesting. Like,
Right there.
is it translating to Irish? I think so.
Characters.
Yeah, I know.
Like, see the
Oh,
limits and the likes. Oh, that's bullshit, isn't it?
it's a limit. Yeah, fuck.
Oh, no way. Limit's probably not
Yeah,
this
I suppose
long.
we'll break it into quarters.
Yeah. I think this is
That
probably
should be
enough.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll even do one. Wow, one thing further.
Yeah. Fair play for including Irish.
Yeah, 110%. Like, see if my brothers can speak it. It's the native language of the land. I'll happily contribute it. I just don't know enough about it to what do you call it? Get it out myself. Yeah, I think it should be sweet. Yeah, grand.
Yes, it
The
is. Very
Belfast
good.
Yeah, no, 110%. We'll give this a listen to here, and then I'll try to scroll down and let people read it in Gaelic if they want. I checked the
Yeah,
stream there, see if it's still live, because as long as it's stream live, we're sweet.
I will. Yeah.
You just turn, yeah, good on. Mute yourself.
Is the stream live? Yeah, it's live. It's live.
You sound coming
That's
through
cool.
okay?
The Belfast
Uh,
Brigade of the Irish Republican Army,
yeah,
IRA, was formed in March 1921 during the Irish War of Independence. When the IRA was reorganized by its leadership in Dublin into divisions and Joe McKelvey was appointed commander of the 3rd Northern Division, responsible for Belfast and the surrounding area. There were 3 battalions within the brigade, the 1st in West Belfast, the 2nd in North Belfast and the 3rd in East Belfast. Most of the brigade's attacks on Crown forces were carried out by an active service unit within the 1st Battalion, led by Roger McCorley. McCorley and Seamus Woods were leaders of a very active IRA active service unit in Belfast, consisted of 32 men, which targeted the Royal Irish Constabulary, RIC, auxiliaries and Black and Tans. 1. The brigade was strengthened during the period between the end of hostilities between the IRA and British forces in July 1921 and the outbreak of the Irish Civil War in June 1922. During this time, Michael Collins, head of the new Irish Free State, sent arms and money to the IRA in Belfast in an effort to destabilize the newly created Northern Ireland. By May 1922, the IRA in Belfast possessed over 600 rifles. They carried out many attacks on British and Northern Ireland forces during this period. In addition, they were often faced with the task of trying to defend Catholic areas of Belfast from attack by Ulster Loyalist and state forces. As well as defense, though, the brigade was also guilty of sectarian attacks, including assassinations of Protestants and the bombing of trams taking Protestant workers to workplaces that had expelled Catholics.
Yeah.
See Belfast Pogrom.
but it's important to include that as well, that, like, you know, the IRA weren't all sunshines and rainbows or perfect either, and there was definitely attacks on innocent unionists and stuff as well, you know. But I suppose what I would say is that unionists were only under siege from the IRA. Unionists weren't under siege from the state, whereas nationalists were. You know what I mean?
Correct.
That's the difference. Like, but we still have to acknowledge that there was a lot of sectarian violence from the IRA, which was wrong.
Oh, 1 second here, I'm trying translating this.
Hopefully that'll be enough.
That was great to listen to. Like, that was great.
It was very interesting, and it's good. It's good that, you know, it shows that we're level headed and we're not just one sided.
In May 1922, the IRA in Belfast assassinated Ulster Unionist Party MP William Twaddle. In response, the next day, the UUP government of Northern Ireland interned over 200 Irish Republicans in Belfast and 350 throughout Northern Ireland. Over 750 IRA men were interned by 1923, CHMS Argenta. Released Belfast hunger strikers May 1920. This was a damaging blow to the Belfast Brigade, but more damaging still was the outbreak of the Irish Civil War on the 28th of June. This meant that the IRA in the south of Ireland was now split into warring factions. In addition, the aid which the Free State government had given to the Northern IRA was cut off after the death of Michael Collins in August 1922. Belfast Brigade leader Roger McCorley stated, "When Collins was killed, the northern element of the IRA gave up all hope." 2. On top of this, Joe McKelvey, the leader of the IRA in Belfast, left the city to side with the anti-treaty IRA in the Civil War. He was captured and subsequently executed by the Free State. Most of the other IRA leaders in Belfast supported the Anglo-Irish Treaty, as they had been persuaded that it would ultimately result in a united, independent Ireland. In addition, over 1,000 IRA men in Belfast had to flee Northern Ireland to escape the repression there, and around 500 of them were recruited into the pro-treaty National Army during the Civil War. As a result of these factors, the IRA in wartime Belfast lacked the will and resources to mount a renewed armed campaign. Remarkably, however, the brigade developed a Protestant squad, an intelligence unit, largely recruited by John Graham, a Church of Ireland devout, from Dennis Ireland's Ulster Union Club. 3. While Graham and others in the Belfast Command continued to debate the merits of a new Northern campaign, in April 1942 a diversionary action drew the RUC into a gun battle in Conpour Street. A police constable, father of 4 Thomas James Forbes, was killed, in consequence of which 6 of the 8 members of the active unit were sentenced to hang. In the event, all but 1 were reprieved. 4. On the 2nd of September 1942, Tom Williams, 19, was hanged, the first and only Irish Republican to be judicially executed in the North. 5. 6. In the IRA border campaign of the 1950s, there were no actions in Belfast. It took the formation of the Provisional IRA and its Belfast Brigade in 1969 before Republicans were again in a position to carry out attacks in Northern Ireland's capital city. The official IRA also had a Belfast Brigade which was commanded by Republican Billy McMahon. Just like the Provisionals, it carried a guerrilla campaign against the British forces in Ireland, but they called a ceasefire in May 1972, but still carried out a handful of attacks in 1973. 1974 and 1975, and they also became involved in a feud with the Provisionals. 11 people were killed in the feud and many more injured. The vast majority of attacks by both sides happened in Belfast. The IRA of the 1920s in Belfast is the subject of the song Belfast Brigade.
It's fair interesting, like, yeah, it's great to learn this part of history because all I ever really learn is the southern element, and it's great to learn
Yeah, like yeah, they had
because
they had a
it's probably
different
more interesting,
struggle,
to be honest.
but no,
A
they
very
had
different struggle, yeah, absolutely.
it was because they was so entrenched with unionist rule. They
Mm,
had the fight. It's not that the Catholics weren't there; they were there. They were just living in amongst. Like it was very mixed. Like it wasn't until the peace walls went up now that all the violence has
yeah,
actually stopped. You know the saying,
yeah,
if there was peace, you know the Good Friday Agreement essentially, you know it stopped the war but didn't bring the peace because the peace walls are still up and more up today than ever were.
yeah, true, true.
I mentioned Tom Williams. Dan, you ever hear the song Tom Williams, We Salute You?
I didn't, to be honest.
That is a very famous song in Belfast. It's not many young people would know it because it's quite old. It's
Mm,
one of my grandmother's favorite rebel songs. But in loving memory of volunteer Tom Williams, her father loved it. He was a young boy, he was killed. So say we just go here. This is an interesting bit of history to learn if you don't know. Let me see. This is probably good Beachmount. So he lived in a local area there on the Falls Road. It was my grandmother's father would have been from Beachmount, and she would have grown up in Beachmount actually, my grandmother. So this would have probably hit home for her like this song, probably in the family. We'll play it here.
Williams was born at 6 Amcomrie Street in the Beachmount area of Belfast in 1923. He was the third child in a family of 6. His brother Richard was the eldest. His sister Mary died of meningitis at the age of 3. Williams's mother Mary died, at the age of 29, after giving birth to his sister Sheila, who also died shortly after. 1. After the death of his mother, Williams and his brother then went to live with their grandmother at 46 Bombay Street in the Clonard area of Belfast. Williams' family had to leave the small Catholic enclave in the Shore Road area of Belfast before moving to Beachmount, after their house was attacked and burnt. 1. C. The Troubles in Northern Ireland, 1920 to 1922.
Jeez.
There's Abercrombie Street there, so that's in. I could take. Say if you came and visit me, mate, we could bring you out there, and you could see Tom Williams' house.
100%, yeah,
We could actually
that
show you it
history right there.
and get you out the bar,
Story
get you out
was
listening to the song. It's good, yeah,
on star. Yeah,
100%, bro. Welcome anytime. This mural's gone, by the way. This is something that's not here anymore. This all is taken away.
oh yeah,
Yeah, a lot of murals like this have been taken away, especially if it has guns and stuff on it. A lot of it is in West Belfast
yeah,
anyway.
it's too violent, like, I suppose
Rarely,
it's fair enough.
rarely when
Do
it's
you agree
especially
with
when
that?
it's faces of the boys. See when it's the faces of the men, they take them away.
Mm,
Very rarely do they use the faces of all the volunteers that actually died, so you don't actually know people and the family members and it's strange, isn't it?
it's kind of like a whitewash history, yeah, but do
Yeah.
you agree with that being going away, or?
Well, the argument for Catholics is that it exists in loyalist areas, so we should take ours away for, the similar, but they don't take theirs away nearly as the same amount. I don't know, maybe it's a bit above my pay grade, to be honest with you. I don't work in reconciliation. Do you know what I mean?
Fair, it's a hard one,
Personally,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't like the idea, like, personally, but, I might be a bit biased there, if I'm being honest.
That's
Be
fair, that's fair.
perfectly honest. But here we'll listen to this other part here, and then we'll try to close it up because I know you have to get to bed here soon. Like we'll have some technical difficulties, but
Absolutely.
the stream seemed to have been running great. So this talks about Niffy Nair, and this is actually a really important thing. What a lot of IRA guys, even Seamus Kearney, we tried to play him earlier. We may try to play him again. He was talking about
Hmm.
being young and being in the IRA. And unfortunately, because it was a war, a lot of young men gravitated towards the violence against the state, which is evident, and it's on both sides that happened really, and these organizations on both sides, took young men 16, 18, 19 in to do this type of stuff, and this is what a lot of them talk about. I'm not trying to put my judgments on it. It was a different time, is what I would
Yeah.
say. It was a long time ago. But it's certainly something we'll have to recognize because they talk about it and it affects their mental health as well. And I've heard
Mm.
one who actually works with kids now explicitly, and he says it on an interview. He says that I work with kids now, and I couldn't imagine doing the things that I was doing with grown-ups. Do you know what I mean? Which is something to consider always when we're talking about this stuff. So we'll play this here and we'll listen to it. Okay.
Perfect.
Na Fianna Éireann. As soon as Williams was old enough, he joined Na Fianna Éireann, the Republican scout organization founded by Countess Markievicz in 1909, becoming a member of the Con Colbert SLUA in the Clonard area. Alfie Hannaway, a friend of Williams, was his OC in Na Fianna, and assigned Williams to the rank of quartermaster for the company. 1. Williams took his role in Na Fianna very seriously, and all who came to know him were struck by his dedication and maturity. Even at this early age. 1. Most of his activities in Na Fianna took place in a small hall in Cane Street, just off Bombay Street. There they spent their time drilling, attending lectures in history, and sometimes scouted for the Irish Republican Army, IRA. With their own money, the boys were able to equip the hall with a boxing ring, PT equipment, and some tables and chairs. 1.
Yeah, Irish Countess Markievicz there. She's a very famous woman in Irish
Yeah.
history. We'll not get lost in
Very
her.
prominent.
Yeah, very prominent. She's a different topic, so she is.
Yeah. Is this
So,
the last one now?
I think here we'll read these last two and then that's us, I think.
No worries. It's so interesting. Like I could learn about it all day, but unfortunately you got to sleep as well.
Yeah. We'll play this last one here and then we'll wrap her up.
No worries. No rush. Like sorry, I don't want to be
Yeah.
putting you under
No,
any
no,
pressure.
we'll
But
fire it through here, because then I'll have to
yeah,
save it all and edit it, which is a bitch. So
yeah,
we'll work
it's
away
gonna be
here.
hard. Yeah,
Yeah, we had some
I'll be good.
technical
Yeah,
difficulties earlier, fuck's sake, and we did it impromptu, so we'll work away here.
perfect.
At the age of 17, Williams was old enough to become a volunteer and joined C Company of the IRA in the Clonard area where he lived. C Company's area of operations ran the extent of the Lower Springfield Road, along the Falls Road from Beachmount to Conway Street, and surrounding the streets in between. Due to his dedication and his remarkable ability, Williams was appointed to the role of adjutant of C Company. 1. At Easter 1942, the government of Northern Ireland had banned all parades to commemorate the anniversary of the Easter Rising. An IRA unit of 6 men and 2 women staged a diversionary action against the RUC to allow 3 parades to take place in West Belfast. But in this clash, an RUC officer was killed and the 6 IRA men were captured. 19-year-old Williams was the officer commanding of the IRA unit and was shot 3 times during this attack. 2. The RUC officer, Constable Patrick Murphy, a father of 9 children from the Falls Road, was one of a minority of Catholics serving in the RUC. 3. There has been some debate over the years about who actually fired the fatal shot. The 6 IRA members were convicted and sentenced to death for murder under the law of common purpose. 5. Henry Cordner, 19, William James Perry, 21, Sean Terence Oliver, 21, Patrick Simpson, 18, and Joe Cahill, 21, who went on to become a senior figure in the IRA, had their sentences commuted. Williams, who acknowledged that he was the leader of the IRA unit involved and took full responsibility for the actions of his men. 4. Execution shirt worn by Williams in which he was arrested and executed, which is now an exhibit at the Irish Republican History Museum in Belfast. Williams was hanged in Crumlin Road Jail, Belfast at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, the 2nd of September 1942. The executioner was the official English hangman Thomas Pierpoint, assisted by his nephew Albert Pierpoint. Afterwards, Williams's body was interred in unhallowed ground in an unmarked grave within the grounds of the prison. His remains were only released in January 2000 after the closure of the prison in 1996 and a lengthy campaign by the National Graves Association, Belfast. Before Williams was executed, he inscribed some messages on the backs of some playing cards. On one he wrote, "To ever who receives this to pray for me always and pray for the God save Ireland." 1. Williams also sent a message to the IRA Chief of Staff Hugh McAteer in which he told his comrades to carry on, no matter what the odds are against you. Carry on no matter what torments are inflicted on you. The road to freedom is paved with suffering, hardships and torture. Carry on, my gallant and brave comrades, until that certain day. 5. Father Alexis, who witnessed the execution, spoke after to his friends in the prison chapel. I met the bravest of the brave this morning, he said. Tom Williams walked to that scaffold without a tremor in his body. The only people who were shaking were us and the hangman. Father Alexis concluded by saying to the remaining prisoners, I've one other thing to say to you. Don't pray for Tom Williams, pray to him. For at this moment Tom is a saint in heaven. 1. His funeral, held on the 19th of January 2000, was attended by thousands, with Williams buried at Milltown Cemetery. 6. Joe Cahill, Williams's cellmate, and John Oliver, sentenced to death with Williams but later reprieved. 7. Tom's funeral mass was celebrated by Paddy O'Donnell, a Redemptorist priest from Clonard Monastery.
Wow. From Clonard Monastery.
There's a plaque on 46 Bombay 46 Bombay Street. Clonard Monastery will be just down from Beachmount, just down the road facing, it's kind of cut off by the Springfield Road, which is sort of a part of Beachmount and a part of Clonard. It's weird. You'll see there, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. And you know, the layout of Belfast is interesting. You'd like it, but um, in Clonard Monastery, that's like the most you would love it to if you come from a Catholic family, because it's one of the most beautiful places in Belfast.
Yeah.
It's stunning. So it is. It's probably one of the
Interesting.
nicest places, and it's right in the middle of a proper council estate in West Belfast, right in the middle of it, and you wouldn't suspect it. You know, say come to show you this, come to show you this. You wouldn't think you were going to where you were going. It's like somewhere in Rome. It's beautiful. Like it's spectacular. Like when you're inside.
Mm.
Let me see here. Yeah, that's everything. So what do you think you've learned? You don't mind me asking?
A huge amount. A huge amount. So basically the McMahon family, for one. And that now basically what I've learned is whenever I make the claim that there was a whenever I now make the claim that there was a ethnic cleansing in Northern Ireland from 1920 to 1924, I can use the McMahon family and other cases like that as my evidence.
Yeah.
So that's what I've learned. What about you?
I've learned a lot. Like, you know what I mean? I knew sort of saw all this stuff already, but now I know
Yeah.
deeper. Now I know in more detail what happened. Do you know what I mean? I can go back and reference it.
Yeah.
You know, like you
Yeah.
said. So while I knew the folklore, now
Absolutely.
I know the facts, sort of. I feel. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should
No,
do.
it's
We should do. I want to try to get like a thing where I can write a script and then explain all of this, explain this Belfast program, and do it in like a 20-minute
yeah.
highly edited format. Like,
No, it's been really interesting.
yeah, we get Tom to do like the graphics for it.
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
but listen, we'll
No,
let you
I've
go on ahead. Give us your opinions, sir, as much as you can give me. Go ahead.
yeah, honestly, I've learned I've just learned an absolute I've learned a wealth of stuff from it, and I suppose it just really highlights to me just how much of a tragedy um the Civil War was, because we were too busy fighting ourselves and none of us were protecting Catholics. And one thing that in Northern Ireland, and one thing that stuck out to me was how they said the Northern IRA knew that they were fucked when Michael Collins was killed, and as well after Michael Collins was killed, they got a lot less help, so a lot more murder and butchery happened from the British, basically. Um, it just shows how integral Michael Collins was at keeping peace and keeping the Northern IRA protected and stuff, you know. So that was another thing that was really interesting. Yeah, I've nothing really to say after this other than it's just reaffirmed my claim that there was an ethnic cleansing in the North from 1920 to 1924.
Like I said, I had my reservations about Michael Collins, and earlier I told you that
Yeah,
story about how when I went into the Roddies before the museum was changed now, and they had
I
Michael
I
Collins
respect that.
guns. Yeah, and I was a young man, I was like 14, and they took us up after a christening, a family christening, and it was men who would have been in that movement at the time, and in the jails especially. I remember they pointed to the beds and said we slept on beds like them, and that kind of freaked me. I kind of made it real for me, like, do you know what I mean? And they
Mm.
showed me McMahon's guns, and they were like, oh, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe you have that. And they had loads of arms on display, but that was the one that got me. Like, I was like, oh, that's McMahon's guns, and that's the one he was shot with. And I was like, right enough. And I was like, that's the last one he had on him. I was used at his funeral and stuff. Like, that's the gun that was donated this. And there was some strife over that gun where they had to give it back and stuff, and they wanted it back. But they had it
Yeah.
for a good while, and I got to see it. I wish I got to get took it out of the case and hold it in my hand. I wish I could tell you there was some story like that, but obviously it's behind the glass. But fuck me, I was as close as you can get, and I heard the story from people who lived that type of life, and it was mad. And like you heard there in that Wikipedia thing, and they have respect for Collins, by the way, man. Like, from what I asked
Yeah.
them, yeah, and they said they did had the respect for him, and that was them men at that time. But listen, we heard that Wikipedia thing about how the northern units, even though there were men that were leaving, going down south to join the anti-treaty, most of the IRA units were waiting and had contact Southern Command saying that they were going to aid them, and they were aiding them, as we heard as well with previously, that they were aiding them with arms and logistically and intelligence, so
Yeah.
it was sabotaged. You could say Collins was sabotaged, and you could say that all this was
Because he was trying to make
started.
peace. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's plenty more to learn here, but we should do Collins next time. Collins is the next big man we should do, like.
100%. Yeah, we could do
Um,
a deep dive into him and his life and his psychology. Yeah,
we've kind of
absolutely.
looked at the innocent people killed, and we've looked at the a couple of volunteers there that have died as well. And I've told you my own family story about my granddad's uncle. He died.
Mm.
Kind of like in a movie scene, like I'll hold them back while you run away when they were trying to get rid of arms in Belfast, and that's a part of National Grave Society came to us, and I'm going to try to find that grave and get it cleaned. And then
We'll both make a movie yet on the troubles of 1920 to 1922.
yeah, if we get
We'll
you to
make,
come up, we'll go make videos or whatever about it. So we'll get. My
yeah,
mate has a GoPro. He said he like me, so we can go
we're
over
gonna
there.
make a proper, the two of us, we're gonna make a movie starring Cillian Murphy sometime
Oh yeah,
with
Cillian
that.
Murphy. Oh yeah, who else would you get to do it? Like, I mean, Cillian Murphy is the guy for the job, like, 100%.
Kenneth Branagh, even though Kenneth Branagh probably wouldn't want to
We
do it
need a
because he's a unionist.
cast of Irishmen in there to do it. Like, you could to get it done. They're
Yeah.
all terrific actors. Like,
Maybe, Kenneth Branagh might maybe, but he probably wouldn't want because he's a
no,
unionist. So
no Americans playing Irish roles in films.
fact, yeah,
Fact for that. Like,
that's what's so good about When the Shakes of Ireland. They're all actually from Cork, like,
oh
so
yeah.
it's so
Especially Killian, like he that was like his role that set him out, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. That was his first big kind of role, yeah. So
That's what
it was
made
big
everybody
for
love
him.
him here. Like, anyway, like that's what
Yeah,
everybody thought
yeah,
about. So
that's it.
listen, well, we'll play us out with a song here. That's the Tom Williams song, like I was telling you about earlier.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll play this song. This will play us out, and then we'll end the stream gracefully. We'll try anyway.
grand. Yeah, it's
So
a nice end with this nice song.
put ourselves on mute
Like,
here, and we'll play it away at it.
yes, can't wait to hear this.
Son of a bitch. Goddamn average. Coca-Cola got in there and got a free spot here in the stream, fuckers. Right, let's go.
Some bastards.
And I'm already halfway through listening to it too. Okay, right, let's go.
Okay, we're going to continue on the ballads here for a young man who was hanged in the Cumberland Road jail, which we just sang about. His name was Volunteer Tom Williams. Time was past as years grow onwards. Still in memory, fresh I keep of a night in Belfast prison were unashamed. I saw her weep as the time was fast approaching. A man lay sentenced for to die, and on the 2nd of September he goes to meet his God on high. Now he's marching towards the scaffolds, head erect, he shows no fear, and while standing on that scaffold, Ireland's cross he holds so dear. And now the cruel blow has fallen, for Ireland he has given all. He who in the flower of manhood proudly answered to her call, brave Tom Williams, we salute you, and we never shall forget those who planted roots of murder. We vow we'll make them all regrets. So I say to Irish soldiers, if from Tom's path he chanced to rain, just keep memory of that morn when Ireland's cross was proudly borne by a man who lies within a prison grave. Brave Tom Williams.
Yup, your boy, yeah. Hup, hup. That's his tune.
There you go.
What a tune that was, man.
Yeah, man. That's a good song. That's a really good song. So even you get to hear I play it
It's
live, it's beautiful. Like, it's honestly beautiful. It's kind of like Grace
Have you heard live
for
before?
me. Yeah, I've heard it live. I've heard a couple of people sing it live. I don't know if I've heard Gary Oak sing it live. I've heard Gary Oak play a couple of times, and he's terrific.
Yeah.
He's one of the best rebel singer alive at the minute. I know the Wave Tones are alive and stuff, and they're cracker too. They're legends, but the best rebel
No,
singer
that's
going at the
class, yeah.
moment is Gary Oak, and he's been the best rebel singer since like 1990. You go look at the first performances, see them old ones as well when he was young and he was belting them out on stage. Them live performance, he does one in Hamburg, Germany, and you can hear him go, "I love you, Hamburg." Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's how old he was.
That's class.
I think he's 17 when he died. So he was or something.
Oh,
Yeah. So how old was I?
that sucks, man.
Yeah, 19 years age. Sorry, he's 19 when he died.
Yeah, that
Okay.
absolutely sucks.
Yeah, there he is. There's his grave in Belfast.
What a legend. Yeah, Arieste Guerrero Hanum Gillis.
Yeah, there's his grave in Belfast. Yeah. I'm gonna save this image because I tell you what, I ain't gonna use that in the
May
video.
his soul rest in the right hand of God.
I know God love him, like, you know what I mean. Somebody's son died a long time ago, yeah, but and I know he was falling like armed struggle, like, but you have to look past that, like, if you're not from our background anyway, like, or not from our
And
side
that
of the
young,
world.
like, so
Yeah,
young
yeah.
to go.
Any kid go like, fuck me, like, I'm past that age now, but I looked at that, looked up to that, like, but see, when you get older than that age, you're about that age now, John. But see, now that I've
Yeah,
outlived that age and I have a brother who's your age, that's about that age. I still look at it as like that's
messed
rubbish
up.
stuff. Yeah, see when you're old, see when you get older than that age, you look at it differently. Like, that's beyond messed up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Um,
Too young.
too young, 100%. Well, listen, I think that's a good place to end it anyway. Thank you very much for coming on doing this with me, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Well, listen, we'll do something like this again. Now we know how to get it working because I think as soon as I
Yeah,
end this, it's going to save and it's going to be on Twitter. They're going to download it and
fantastic.
then we're going to edit it
Yeah,
and then it's going to go back up on YouTube.
yeah.
Listen, thanks very much. Gary agat. Thank you very
Gurmina
much.
Maigus, top watch your road. Top watch your road. You're more than welcome. Thanks,
God,
lad. I'll
God
end
bless.
the Zoom call so as well.
God bless. Good night, man.
God bless. You sleep well.
Good night. Good night.
But yeah, 100% we can do Michael Hallam or something
Oh yeah.
next or anything.
Oh yeah. We'll plan something next and we'll collaborate.
Yeah, maybe.